Steel City. Is everybody ready to go? Let's proclaim the greatest radio show.
Welcome, fans, to our special edition Thanksgiving spread. I am your host, Jim Cella, in studio with the man, the myth, and the real legend, not Johnny Parlay, JDash. How you feeling, Dash? You ready for Thanksgiving?
I'm ready for Thanksgiving.
Eat some turkey?
For sure.
Some stuffing? You like stuffing?
Yes, please believe I like stuffing.
Everybody loves stuffing. Now, do you gravy your stuffing?
Yeah, sure. Why not? What I like the most, though, is green bean casserole.
Oh, see, I'm not a green bean casserole guy.
I love it.
I think stuffing and mashed potatoes are my favorite things, besides a turkey, obviously.
I'm not a fan of mashed potatoes myself.
Well, then you don't know what the hell's going
on.
on.
How about those orange yams?
No. I don't do the sweet potatoes.
Sweet potatoes, yeah, nasty.
No thanks. Well, what about these games? We got 3 games going on this week. We got the Bears-Lions, we got Philly-Dallas, and we got Seattle and San Francisco. Pretty good docket for Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah, you gotta love these games. You know Detroit's always gonna play, so you gotta match them up against somebody decent. Chicago was supposed to be decent. It's not turning out that way so far.
Yeah, they're garbage.
Yeah, it seems like it. But hey, they won their last 2 games, so I mean they're at least on the rise a little bit. It was Tampa Bay and Minnesota though.
Well, Detroit is 2-0 against the spread in games at Detroit in the last 3 years, going up against the Bears, and both those games went over. But Chicago leads the head-to-head matchup straight up since 2001, 17-9.
Chicago does?
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, it's not really hard to believe. The Lions have been a bad team for a long time, really.
Yeah, they were the first team to go 0-16, right?
Yeah.
Garbage.
But this year, I mean, they're one of the best teams. They have one of the best defenses in the league, but...
Except for last week when they got spanked by New England.
Not only that, they only scored 9 points at New England last week, and they only scored 6 before the week before that at Arizona.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that offense with Matt Stafford and Calvin Johnson and Golden Tate and Reggie Bush, who's been hurt, but they have Joique Bell and some other guy and that Eric Ebron and Pettigrew. They should be getting touchdowns.
Can you believe that they haven't scored more than 24 points in any game since week 1? They scored 35 in week 1 and have not scored more than 24 since.
That's pathetic, and we think the Steelers' offense is bad.
But then I look at Chicago, and I see when they lose big.
Oh, yeah.
They've lost by 21, 7, 13, 28, and 41 in their last 5 losses. So when they lose, they lose big. And I like the Lions on Thanksgiving most years. I feel like they do well on Thanksgiving.
Well, I guess the Bears, if they're going to lose, they do it the right way, and they just lose big.
Yeah.
Well, the Bears are 5-6 on the year. They're 5-6 against the spread. 6 games were over and 5 were under. That could be because the Bears' defense is so pathetic that they just give up so many points. The offense puts up 21.5 points. The defense allows 27.5. That's not going to win you too many games.
Yeah, the Bears' problem is defense for sure.
Well, can you guess what they are straight up on the road this year?
Straight up on the road? Well, I know that I see they beat San Francisco early in the year.
Yeah.
And they won at Atlanta, so they're winning some good road games. But they also lost to Carolina, who's a garbage team. But then they lost to New England and Green Bay. So it's really hard to say how they really play on the road because they definitely lost the teams they should lose to.
Right. They're 3-3 straight up on the road. They're 3-4 against the spread as underdogs and 3-3 against the spread as road underdogs. But surprisingly, the Bears are 4-3 against the spread going up against conference opponents. So if they were in the playoff hunt, at least that would help them in the tiebreaker. But unfortunately for the Bears, they're in the hunt for nothing.
Well, if they were in the NFC South, they'd be division leaders.
Yep, and if I was Scrooge McDuck, I'd be a millionaire.
Kelvin Johnson actually has a touchdown in each of his last 5 Thanksgiving games.
You know, I wanted to look to see what Detroit was on Thanksgiving over the last couple of years, and I just couldn't find it.
I seen all time they were something like 4 games under 500, like 34 and 38 or something.
Why do they always play on Thanksgiving if they're usually terrible?
It's them in Dallas, right?
Dallas, yep.
Them in Dallas. It's not fair. I thought the Ravens were actually a team that played every Thanksgiving now. Apparently not, though.
Guess not. A couple Detroit stats real quick for you. They're 7-4 on the year and 5-6 against the spread. They're only 3-4 against the spread as the favorite and 3-2 against the spread as the favorite at home. They're 3-2 against the spread in home games. So they're really just average. Nothing really sticks out to me against the spread about Detroit.
Yeah, their last 3 home games, they lost to Buffalo, and then they beat New Orleans by 1 point and Miami by 4 points. So, according to this, they're not covering the spread recently. And like I said, Detroit's offense has been garbage the past 2 weeks. Yes, they played at Arizona and at New England, so they were tough games, but 15 points in 2 games, I'm not trusting that at all. I'm going to go with Chicago.
This is a tough one. This game makes me want to take a teaser. You'd think the Lions could win a game at home against the Bears at even, but then the over-under, you don't know which Lions team's going to show up. They were supposed to stop New England and not allow a lot of points, so I took the under last week. They blew that for me. Yeah. So I think I might just jump on the bandwagon here at the Bears at +7. The Detroit Lions have just not been covering spreads this year. They're winning games, and they were leading their division, but they're not doing it by a lot of points.
Yeah. Like I said, the only thing that scares me is when the Bears decide they're going to lose.
They lose. Yeah, please believe.
Easy also is taking Chicago.
Holy cow. All of us are taking Chicago then. Me, you, Parlay, and Easy.
Chicago's the pick.
They better win or we're all done.
Well, at least nobody will lose a game against each other.
Well, that takes us to the midday game. Philadelphia Eagles roll into Dallas to take on the Cowboys. The butt fumble is still at quarterback for the Eagles. He hasn't fumbled the game or fumbled the position away yet.
He looks great, to tell you the truth.
He wears a headband.
Over the past 3 games, I think that's when he came in. 3 games now?
Yeah.
Okay, so they scored 45 versus Carolina and 43 versus Tennessee. Yes, they lost at Green Bay, which is no big surprise there.
So Dallas is 1-1 straight up and against the spread at Dallas in the last 2 years against Philadelphia. So Dallas at home, 1-1 straight up and against the spread against the Eagles. One of those games went over, and Dallas is 13-12 against the spread at home since 1992 against the Eagles.
Well, I'm looking at Dallas here. This season, they're 8-3, which is a great record.
Straight up.
But guess how many home games they lost? 3. They lost all their games at home.
Well, they're 2-4 against the spread at home, so that's not very good either.
Yeah, they lost San Francisco in week 1, and then their past 2 road games they lost. They lost Washington, of all teams, and then the next week they lost versus Arizona. So really, they haven't looked too great at home this season. They did beat New York by 10, and they barely beat Houston, and they took care of business versus New Orleans.
Everybody's taking care of business against the Saints this year.
That whole division.
Well, Philly's 8-3 straight up and 7-4 against the spread. The Eagles are putting up 31 points a game, and they're only allowing 25 points a game. The only thing is they're only 1-2 against the spread as dogs and 2-3 against the spread in road games. So they're not doing too well as the underdog. They're not doing too well in road games. 1-1 against the spread in division games. 3-4 against the spread in conference games. So they're not covering any spreads. Is it maybe because everybody expects that offense to be so high-powered and win by so much, the lines are inflated? Or do they just not cover the spread?
On the road, they just don't cover the spread, it seems like. Their only big win on the road was at Indianapolis in week 2. And since then, the only team they beat on the road is Houston, which you got to think they should be able to do. But then they lost every other road game, so they haven't been a good road team all year. They do put up points, though.
Quick note about Houston. Did you see Ryan Mallett's out for the rest of the year?
Yeah, I did see
Torn
that.
pectoral muscle. Poor guy came in, played well in his first start, tears his pec in his second start. Everybody said he was garbage in that game. Meanwhile, he was playing with a torn muscle. Finished the game, and now the poor guy's out the rest of the year, and he's a free agent. So now he's not going to get a very big contract.
Yeah, probably not.
Well, moving on to a team that's actually playing on Thursday. Back to the Dallas Cowboys, I guess, really, I should say. They're 6-5 against the spread this year. 3-4 against the spread as favorites, and 2-4 against the spread in home games.
2-4, that sounds about right, because they're not playing great at home. Although they did win their last two games, but it was on the road, and it wasn't good opponents, really. But they barely took care of business versus a bad Giants team last week. Even though I picked the Giants, really, I had a bad feeling about that pick. But the Giants covered. Dallas did not look good on the road last week.
Well, Tony Romo and company are playing well. He's playing efficient. DeMarco Murray's running wild, just like Hulk Hogan. Everybody knows that.
Des Bryant's
playing good. The defense is mediocre.
Well, they were playing good there for a while. They had 3 or 4 game stretch where they looked pretty good. But last week, the Giants torched them.
This is a tough division game. Philly and Dallas always play each other well. I'd be more sold on the game if Nick Foles was at quarterback, although I don't think he's that good either. I just think Mark Sanchez is terrible. I think the big stage of Thanksgiving Day is going to be too much for him. And I think the Dallas Cowboys win this game.
I agree. Dallas is going to win this game. You're saying they're going to cover this?
Yeah, 3 points.
Too?
Yep.
I think I'm going to go with you again, man. Dallas is going to win this game by at least a touchdown, I'd say.
Maybe not a touchdown, maybe 5 or 6 points. I don't know.
I don't know, man. I don't trust Mark Sanchez.
Me either.
That's it.
But I don't trust Tony Romo either, so I could see it being a close game. And Romo, he's good at coming back in the fourth quarter. Mark Sanchez isn't good at coming back ever. So I'll take Dallas -3. Johnny Parlay, he likes Philly here. Mr. Parlay went 5-0 last week. The first time he's won
4-0-1.
4-0-1, I'm sorry. He pushed on a game. First week he didn't have a loss. Now he knows how it feels. I was 5-0. It was a great feeling.
Hey.
He's 4-1. I'm not going to hate on him like he hated on me. I'm going to give him props. Good for you, Johnny Parlay. I'm happy for you.
He's 7-2-1 in his last 10 picks over the past 2 weeks, so he's having a good run. And now he's 15-19-1 on the season, so he's catching back up to 500.
Yeah, with my 0-5 week, sorry fans, I dropped to 22-28 this year, so that's not too good. But I'm confident in this Dallas pick, nonetheless. What did Easy take here? Did he tell you?
Easy is going Philly.
Philly. So Easy and Mr. Parlay are on Philly, and the two smart guys, me and you, are on Dallas.
All you have to do is look at my record, 14-12, the only winning record with at least 4 games picked.
Hey, all right, just keep making up stats like Antonio Brown.
What do you mean making up stats? Easy's the only one over 500 besides that, and he's 2-1.
So that counts.
It does count. He is over 500.
All right, let's move on to this night game. We got the Seattle Seahawks, one of my most hated teams in the league, going up against the San Francisco 49ers, one of my most hated teams in the league.
Yeah.
San Francisco is favored by 1. The over-under is 40. Seattle is 9-1 against the spread as an underdog over the last 3 seasons, and they're 5-0 against the spread versus San Francisco over the last 3 seasons.
That's a stat I like right there. 5-0 against the spread versus San Francisco. But this is a perfect Thanksgiving game. You eat a lot of turkey.
You get tired and you
go
fall
to
asleep
sleep.
watching it.
Exactly. You just want to go to sleep because this is going to be, I would guess, a low-scoring game.
Yeah, Seattle's got a good D. San Fran's defense is supposed to be good. They haven't been playing that well all year, but they play well at home still.
Oh, they're good, man. They're good. They've let up, 13, 10, 24, 13 over the past 4 weeks, so they're playing well over the past month.
Well, Seattle hasn't even been an underdog all year. That's pretty amazing to me. I know they're the Super Bowl champs, but never once have they been the dog going into San Francisco. They're -1. Seattle is only 5-6 against the spread this year. They're only 7-4 straight up. They're struggling compared to last year.
Yeah, they don't look as good as they did last year, but they have the tag on their head. They're the Super Bowl champs. Everybody wants to knock them off. But the reason they weren't an underdog this year is really the only time they're going to be an underdog is on the road, usually. Correct?
On the road again.
And then on the road, they played San Diego, Washington, St. Louis, Carolina, and Kansas City. So Kansas City is really the only game I see that they maybe should have been the underdog.
Another quick comment. It's a little off topic here from the pick segment. I was watching ESPN and I just seen Richard Sherman and I'm pretty sure it was Doug Baldwin do a completely ridiculous press conference, whatever you want to call it. Not necessarily a press conference, just answering questions from reporters. It was so stupid. They were acting like jackasses, a bunch of Obi-Wan jabronis. Oh, I hate Richard Sherman. I hate him.
I don't hate him.
He's such a tool, man. He thinks he's God's gift to cornerbacks. He's not even the best defensive back in the league. Yeah, Seattle had a good year last year. Their defense had a good year. But you know what? Block that dude. He don't even know what he's talking about. He thinks he's so smart just because he went to Stanford. He only went to Stanford because he wasn't good enough to get on any other team's football team. Dude was only like a 4th-round pick.
Hey, he graduated, so that's all that matters. He graduated from Stanford.
He graduated.
So he's smart. He's a smart man.
If he was smart, he'd keep his mouth shut and stop making the NFL look like a bunch of jackasses because they're going to come down on him one of these days and he's not going to like it. He's going to end up like T.O. and he's going to talk his way out of the league. Terrell Owens still had talent before he was done. Other teams were just done with him. They couldn't take it. The NFL couldn't take it.
So you
But-
think that'll happen to Richard Sherman, you're saying?
If he keeps talking the way he is.
He
and if-
doesn't talk. He doesn't do any talking like that, man.
Dude,
He's not a bad
You don't
influence
remember
or anything.
it was right after the NFC Championship game, him dropping F-bombs and stuff at Michael Crabtree on live TV, and then that stupid rant he went on after that, and this all leading up to the Super Bowl media day, and it was just ridiculous. He doesn't know how to shut up.
Whatever.
Well, let's talk about a team that once had T.O. When he was young and didn't talk like an idiot. The San Francisco 49ers. They're 7-4 straight up, but they're 4-7 against the spread. So if you've been betting on San Francisco this year, you ain't going to have a lot of Christmas money.
They are on a 3-game winning streak, though. They won at New Orleans, at New York, and then just beat Washington at home last week. That isn't the greatest teams in the league, and
That's called a winning streak.
It is.
It has happened before.
but Seattle is definitely better than all three of these teams. So I don't know if SF is going to win this game or not. This is going to be a tight game, I believe.
Niners are 5-4 against the spread as favorites, 2-3 against the spread in home games. They're 1-2 against the spread in division games, and 5-4 against the spread in conference games. They're either one game above or one game under 500 in all those categories. They're only favored by one, so really, I mean, it's as close to even as you can get, obviously. But a victory for San Fran outside of only beating them by one. They cover. But I think I'm going to take Seattle. I think I'm going to take the Seahawks at San Francisco. The Niners just aren't what they have been. There's some disarray in the locker room with Jim Harbaugh being a complete tool. I don't know if he's a bigger tool or Richard Sherman's a bigger tool, but it's the battle of the tools on Thanksgiving, and I think Richard Sherman's going to win. Maybe he is the bigger tool.
The problem I have with San Francisco is not their defense.
It's their coach?
It's their offense. Colin Kaepernick
Is a tool?
Is not. Colin Kaepernick is not a good quarterback this season.
No.
Michael Crabtree isn't the greatest receiver. Vernon Davis looks like garbage.
He's obsolete.
I do like Frank Gore, but he's getting old. Anquan Bolden's Carlos Hyde. Anquan Bolden's probably their best player on offense, I'd have to say.
Definitely, and he's like 48 years old.
He's getting it done every week, though.
He's a beast. PPR all the way.
However, again, I'm going to have to agree with you and say Seattle
Woo!
wins this game.
We're picking the same games all the way.
Me and you are.
Oh, woo! Woo, man, somebody get me a drink of water. I'm about to pass out over here. I didn't think you'd ever agree with me on 3 games.
Well, maybe you checked out what I was going to pick because you want to start winning.
Yeah, that's definitely not what's going on because I have more wins than you, so we're
You
just
have
gonna...
8 more wins
Exactly.
and 16 more losses.
8 more wins.
So I got to go 8-16 just to catch up with
8
you.
more wins. That's what I hear there. 8 more wins.
Hey,
sounds good to the ear.
People,
8 more wins.
If you want to win money, do you want to go with the guy that's
more
22 and 28 or the guy that's
wins.
14 and 12?
Hey, at least I have enough cojones to pick games.
What are you talking about?
Maybe if you'd have picked as many games as me, you'd probably be 14 and 30.
I'd probably be 30 and something.
You wouldn't be 30 and something. You're 30 something, but you wouldn't be 30 and something. Come on now.
Please believe I'm winning every week. I'm
Winning every
7
week.
and 3 in my last 10 games. Just keep following me, people. Get you that money.
That about wraps up our Thanksgiving segment. You got anything else for the fans?
Yeah, I want to say Digi took Seattle, and who did Johnny Parlay take?
Oh, in this game?
Yes.
I don't know. Johnny Parlay should have came to work today. He's actually at work today, so I can't really hate on him, but you know how much I love to hate. He took Seattle.
Okay, he took Seattle. We all took Seattle then.
Everybody loves Seattle.
Okay, so we all took Seattle, and we all took Chicago, and then we split on Philly and Dallas. Now, Jim is 7-4 in picks of the week. He's 7-2 in his last 9. So listen to him on his picks of the week. That you'll hear that coming up for Sunday's games. You'll probably be posted Friday, early Saturday. John is 5-5. He's catching up. He's won his last 2. I'm sitting at 4-0 still.
0-4. Woo, that's
4-0.
terrible, man.
So, picks of the week, you got to listen to me. And Easy lost his first pick of the week last week, but he had 2 picks of the week, and he won his college pop.
Easy in that college. We're going to have to get him to do a whole college segment from now on next season. He knows those college games.
Yes, he is 2-0 in college, so next time you hear him mention a college game, you might want to jump on it.
Jump on that, just like I'm going to jump on some turkey and stuffing on Thursday.
Please believe.
Well, I got to work Thursday morning. Do you work Thursday at all?
Get that wrong.
Oh, see, I got to go into work. I got to open the store. It's not going to be a fun time, but I'm going to be thinking about turkey all day. Well, thank you, fans, for listening. Thanks, Dash, for coming into work today. Johnny Parlay's sitting around doing nothing. I hope everybody has a happy Thanksgiving. You can follow us on Twitter at bet_the_spread. Check us out on Facebook. Subscribe to that YouTube channel. If we get enough subscribers, that means we can do more work. More work means more entertainment for the fans.
Get some.
Please believe.
Happy Thanksgiving.